Hi, guys. Welcome back to our 12-week summer series based upon the book, What Happened to You by Oprah Winfrey and Dr. Bruce Perry. Of course, every week we share that how much this book has mesmerized and enlightened the minds of our readers, especially having often been asked the question, what's wrong with you? And now we always emphasize that the phenomenal work that the authors have done, the question has become, what happened to you? We want to salute our CEO of TDR Brands International, Tierra Destiny Reed, for her vision of our community, When Women Heal. When Women Heal is a safe haven where women are able to come and we connect, and women heal and they grow and they become so empowered being a part of this community. For those of you that do not know me, I am Dr. Glenice Harris Wilson, and I'm the media host for When Women Heal. I am an associate professional counselor, pastoral counselor, and a professional coach, where I am the founder and CEO of Living Connected LLC. On behalf of our visionary, Tierra Destiny Reed, we invite you guys to join our Facebook community. Go to When Women Heal Community. Also, we want you to please visit our website at whenwomenheal.com. Today, guys, I am so excited. We have about as our special guest someone who is no stranger to the When Women Heal community. She is our very own Tanysha Carroll. Hi, Tanysha.
Hi, everybody.
Listen, let me tell you guys something. Tanisha has been so faithful through this process of this whole launching and everything about the 12-week summer series. She has been a supporter weekly. She behind the scenes. You all have no idea how much I have learned from Tanisha and what Tanisha, the impact that she's had on me. I am just so elated to even know her, to meet her, and to be under her support. I'm grateful to her, bringing her gifts, her many gifts, I should say, all of her talents and all of the many things that she does, but most of all, her spirit of love, her spirit of compassion. Tanisha, let me just publicly say, thank you for you being you. Thank you for being God's gift to the world, to the community, to women, to
Oh, wow.
everyone that you impact and that you empower.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. It is my honor to serve, and I am learning just as much as everyone else along this journey, but it's been my pleasure to grow with you and to just um, heal together and build this together has been my pleasure. And I'm honored to serve with you. And thank you so much for your encouragement. And that's what you hit on the head was the love, because I don't fool with everybody. And you are a sweetheart, and it's just been easy. It's been easy.
You everybody was not meant to be part of your journey. Everybody you cannot connect to, right? And no
Exactly.
harm intended, but you can. Nothing personal, but
Yeah.
you have to be sensitive to who. And so I understand. I'm right. I'm right there with you. I got you. I got you. So Tanisha, you know the story behind the series, right? And you know that we have just been so enlightened, having talked so much about the book, What Happened to You, and hearing women week after week after week sharing how they relate to it. Looking over your bio, I said to myself, now I'm not sure how Tanisha gonna relate to this book. Your bio is just phenomenal. It's amazing. And we're going to talk about some things that's on your bio. But I want you to share when you hear um, the title, What Happened to You? How do you relate to that?
Well, I relate to it in the sense that everyone has a journey. And for me, you know, I grew up in a Christian home, and I have guided my life based on Christian principles. But at the same time, I was trying to figure it out because there was such a perfectionist culture in my family, in my church, that I was like, how do I fit? How do I fit? And so finding my way. So what happened to me is finding my way to knowing who I truly am and not just who people wanted me to be. um, Knowing that my opinions actually matter. Even I am an opinionated person, but I do it in a way that values the other person as well, doesn't block their light just because I can shine. So I've had some emotional turmoil in my life. Um, but the bottom line is that God has always been there, and He's put people along the way to help me grow to the next place, grow to the next level. Um, so, what happened to me is growth. What happened to me is shedding things, even that were supposed, it's like this is the way we are, that's who we are, that's what we do. And being willing to shed that, even though it was a family choice, it was a family, culture, but being willing to shed that, to say, but who are you now? And who do you desire to be? Who has God said that you are? And how do you really want to show up in the world? And even more importantly, what do you want your kids? I have two children. What do you want your kids to know? And how do you want them to show up as well?
Having grown up in a spiritual home, in a Christian home, and having to adapt to what your upbringing said you should be as a Christian, as you went on your walk, your journey, how does what that represent? How does that differ from what you learned you wanted your household or your Christian principles to reflect?
Um, Interestingly, I really am still in this place of of expanding and learning from how I grew up versus to who I want to be today. Um, because I started maybe about 5 or 6, maybe about 5 years ago, just like there has to be more, God. There's got to be more. This rigmarole, this same old. There's got to be more. And part of that journey has been participating in some therapeutic services to say, well, why did you choose? Why are you feeling like you have to still be that? When I was growing up, I saw my mom. My mom worked. She took care of the home. My dad, I grew up in a two-parent home. My dad was there. I had a brother. He was a year older than me. So we had a behavior. And my parents were good examples. And I have released my parents from whatever I felt like was so horrible, because I just didn't feel the love. I felt the responsibility, but I
Mhm.
didn't feel the love a lot of my life. And so one of the things is, I went out of my way to tell my kids that I love them. I go out of my way to tell people that I love them. And I know some people are like, oh, I just show, and that's good. It's important to me. I'm a word person. I need to hear you say. I love you. And I want you to hear me say, I love you. Um, Even being willing to admit that I'm wrong. Being wrong in a perfectionist culture, those two things don't go together, right? So it took me a long time to apologize, particularly in my marriage. And it took me a long time to admit when I was wrong and like really admit it. Not like, initially I would be like, oh, okay, that's true, and just move on and gloss over it. But I just began to take responsibility. You know what? You're right. I didn't say that. I didn't mean that. I apologize. Being willing to apologize to my husband, to other people, but also to my children. And right now, it throws my son off a lot. He's 15, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I didn't do such and such. And he's like, are you apologizing to me? and and he's like, are you admitting that you're wrong? And I'm like, yes, because I can do that. And I asked him, I said, I want you to allow me the opportunity to grow even while I am parenting you. Allow me the opportunity to grow and to change. So there's some of just a few of the things that I do differently. I mean, my parents would never apologize. Stop it. Never. And even saying I love you. I remember one time just my mom, I don't even remember what it was she was getting onto me about, but I was in my 20s, my early 20s, and I was just bawling. And I was like, can you just tell me that you love me and give me a hug and hold me? Can you just do that? That's what I need you to do. And she just looked at me like she didn't know what to do.
Wow.
Because her mother was, real hard. Just some of it is the generation growing up and the things they went through a lot growing up. And I get it. I get it.
Mhm.
But when I'm a sensitive person, and so I'm like, I need a little bit more emotion, a
Let's
little bit more.
let's kind of go back a little bit because you mentioned emotional turmoil. And I'm hearing you connect the lack of love to the emotional turmoil. So here you are in a home where you did not hear, I love you. What did that do to you emotionally?
It made me very hard, very tough exterior, very combative in some ways, very angry.
Mhm.
I would lash out at people and just, I was the go off queen, like just snap on people from a very young age. When I was in the second grade, I snapped on my teacher. I got in so much trouble. But I snapped on my teacher out, cussed her out. And I mean, I just was like, you don't know, you don't make me sit back. I just went off on her. I'm in the second grade. Like, you in the second grade, girl? What's wrong with you? But, when you have emotions from other things and
Mhm.
you feel like, well, this is a place I know I can just, because at home, was I going to yell at my parents? Never. I
Mhm.
go in there yell at my parents
Mhm.
and get slapped, you know? And
Mhm.
so that wasn't something that I could do. And so, but I went out of my way trying to, like I said, be perfect, do everything right. So, but really what that produced was sneakiness. It
So,
just produced being sneaky. It didn't produce actual perfection. It just produced doing something so nobody would see me, which is not good either, so.
right. So when you talked about it, you start being angry, you start being combative, and I'm hearing rebellious, not to your parents, but with other people, because you know what how you talk to the teacher in second grade, having those type of characteristics that you displayed. Um, did you find it difficult to develop relationships along the way, friendships along the way?
Um, yeah, I did. When I look back on it, I never really had a lot of friends. I had a couple here and there, until I got into high school, and then I made some really lifelong friends. But even them, there was just a few of them. I was never a part of. I was never in the in crowd. I was never, the girl. I was always a big girl, so there was that people were not accepting of, and um, I was at church all the time, so it's not like I could really hang out. Um, and so building friendships, I didn't know I was a friend. I've always been a friendly person, but I didn't necessarily know how to just be myself and allow who I was to draw the right people. I would try to fit in oftentimes with others, and and even people who really were my friends, to kind of nitpick at how they were not good enough, you
Mhm.
know, and even in our relationships. So it was very challenging. And honestly, even today, I sometimes, consider and think about, like, you know, do I really have real friends? And I do. And I just rehearse it in my head, but it's still something that I battle. Mm, I don't know about battle, but I think about and I consider. But more so, nowadays I consider, are you being a friend? Are you being the type of friend that you want people to be to
Mm,
you? And
mhm,
so when I have learned, you want people to check in on them.
mm,
Don't wait for them to do it. You want to experience love, make sure that you are expressing it.
mhm,
Um, and so it was very hard for me to build the right kind of relationships. Like I say, until I got into high school. High school is where I really built some strong, good, um, relationships outside of church. I
mhm,
had like my church friends, and then my school friends, but these friends I built in high school became all of that. They were every part of that. And I still am friends with majority of them, to this day.
kind of take me down memory lane. When you say that you grew up in a Christian home and you had to be guided by the biblical principles of what your parents established, kind of told me what did that day to day look like? I can imagine what Sundays was. You get up, you go to church, and you go through the whole ritual of what Sunday is, but day to day, what did that look like based upon you know, what is the saying? In this house, we're going to serve the Lord, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
give me an idea of what day to day was.
Well, we let's see. On Monday nights was the usher board. My brother was on the usher board. So we didn't just go to church on Sunday. So let me say that we didn't just go to church on Sunday. We had responsibilities throughout the week that were related to church.
Mhm,
As and we would so we had um, usher board meeting, we had teachers meeting, we had what they call BTU, which was the Baptist Training Union, eventually became NBC. I forget what those letters stood for, but it was a training class about the Bible. And we went to those. We had revivals that we attended. We had, I was in the choir, so choir rehearsal, all those type of things. But when it comes to just living, there was when we ate dinner together every day, like Monday through Friday, I should say Sunday through Friday. And we sat at the table together and we blessed our food. All of us had to go around and say a Bible verse. So we
mhm,
had to memorize Bible verses,
mhm,
so that because we wasn't allowed to say the same Bible verse, you could get a couple of weeks in there of saying the same one, but then you needed a new one. So that helped us memorize the Bible, the scripture. Um, and even just a responsibility like, this is how you are supposed to act. You, a whole bunch of cussing, that's not what we do. Not that people in my home didn't cuss every now and then, because they did, but it was not a constant behavior. I've been around some like cussing homes, and I didn't live in one, but cussing would come up every now and then for emphasis. But how we talk to each other, and just using the scripture and knowing who Jesus was,
Mhm.
who Jesus was. That was important, um, to my parents, and mostly my mom. My mom was very involved. My mom is the one who got my dad in church.
Mhm.
So when I was really, really small, my dad did not go to church. He was not. It wasn't that he wasn't a believer. He grew up in a home. My grandmother was a believer and took them to church, but how you be in that stage where you're like, I ain't fooling with that.
Mhm.
And so he was in that space still when I was really, really young. But as we got older, he came to church, he got involved, he connected with other believers. Um, but it was strict in the sense of, we want you to follow biblical rules. Like, don't be out all over the street, don't be connecting with people who are going to bring you into a bad behavior. um you can be of help and assistance to people even if they're not the same as you, but you can't don't stay in that place of whatever. If there's something negative that they are doing, that you just follow along and stay in that place, because God requires more out of you and he has a higher expectation out of you. And but we also, we weren't, as much as we went to church, we also enjoyed a lot of family
Mhm.
time.
Mhm.
And we loved to dance, listen to music, play records, and that kind of thing. And my one of my aunts, my mom's sister, she was the clubber, so she would come over and teach us all the latest dances and stuff. But she like she loved Jesus, but she went to the club, um so it was some of those type of things. There were just things that we weren't supposed to go and do.
Mhm.
And let me just say, like my brother and I, opposites. He was the one who was like, oh, they said I can't go, I'm going. Oh, they said I can't do that, I'm doing it.
So he was
They
gonna
say you stop.
he tested the waters.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I would be like, why are you doing this? Because sometimes I would be the one who would get the questions like, well, what's he doing? Where is he? And I'm like, what? Don't ask me. Brother, sister code. Please don't ask me. Don't ask me. Just find him. I cannot. I don't want to break the code, but I also don't want to get in trouble. Like, he would take a beating. He didn't care.
So all that you learn biblically, did you ever at some point sort of feel confused because we're going to church, we're talking about Jesus, we're reading and we're reciting scriptures, but you're never saying that you love me. Did you ever have a sense of confusion?
Um, I think that I was so strict about just following the rules
Mhm.
that it wasn't until much later in life that I really was like, this got to add up more.
Mm.
It has to add up more. Um, because like I say, my parents, they would do, I mean, they did things to help us know they cared about us, but it wasn't a lot of emotion. It just wasn't a lot of emotion, but I am a emotional person. I'm a very sensitive person. So there was something missing for me.
How,
And I didn't know how to get it.
how do you connect that to feeling that? now that we talk about the term trauma, how do you
Hmm.
connect not saying that or not hearing that I love you to feeling this has traumatized me? Now that I am an adult, I feel like that has impacted my life and not in a good way.
Yeah, well, it made me seek out who's going to be the love, who's going to show me the love I'm missing at home,
Hmm.
and it's very interesting because I am a rule follower.
Mm-hmm.
um it's a lot of things I did not do.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have sex before I was married. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a drinker. I wasn't, I wasn't a thief. Not like I was perfect, because I was a sneak and I was a liar,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just things that were, when I was growing up, it's like the big sins.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't connect myself with those things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was looking for love. So when it comes to like getting married, this person comes along, but because I'm broken, I'm not everything that I should be. When I make this decision to get married, I'm looking at this person who's pouring into me and who's like, oh, you're this and you're that. And one, I don't know how to receive it. So I say, oh, that's corny. Oh, you know, that's not true. And he still presses his way. We but and even with that, I marry the fact that he desired me, not necessarily because he was everything that I should have needed, if
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm marrying the potential of the relationship. I'm marrying what fits, what I think works right now. And so I didn't find out until later, hey, this really isn't enough. We have to really work on this, because what I thought was enough isn't. And then what I thought I did not want, I
Mm-hmm.
actually do want it.
Mm-hmm.
And so where I would say, oh, that's corny, now I want somebody to say all them little corny lines to me.
Right.
you know, because I recognize the sensitivity in myself that it draws me,
Mm-hmm.
but back then I didn't know, because I'm hard. So I don't receive stuff like that. I'm keeping people out so that they don't hurt me. I'm looking for um the love. I want to experience the love, but only to, you know, as far as I allow it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was I don't know if I answered your question or not.
Yeah, you did. You absolutely
Okay.
did. Because, what I'm hearing, all of that, entering into that marriage, you really was going into it with a lot of uncertainty. You didn't know what this was going to be like, right? Because you wasn't used to being on that receiving end in terms of the context of what marriage should be biblically.
Right.
You didn't see it, you didn't know it. It was unfamiliar territory for you. So at some point, when you really embrace the essence of marriage, some point you took on, you had what we call some breakthrough moments, right?
Mm,
That help you to become resilient of not being told that I love you, or being resilient to the emotional turmoil of having lacked that whole conversation around love. So, what was some of the breakthrough moments for you?
um some of it was beginning to walk in purpose,
Mm,
understanding. Years ago I had a dream, and um I don't dream that often. And so when I had this dream, And I remember it till this day. So I know it was God. And it was me. And I was leading worship, but I was also teaching people. And God had lifted me up and He was just spreading me around the room. He was just spreading me around the room. And He gave me a scripture, Isaiah 42. And it just talks about how God is with you and how He's called you and how He's giving you what you need to bring people out of darkness, what I need to bring people out of dark places, to show them the way, and to be a blessing to them. And so that began a journey of, if he's going to, if he has called me like this, that he's gonna spread me out, like he's gonna pour me out to all these people, and there were certain people in the room, and some of them were people from my childhood who didn't understand. And there were some people who knew me from my present who were absorbing what I was pouring out. And that began a time and a season of really digging into who God says I am, regardless of what anybody else, or regardless of whether other people accept it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so I began to search the scriptures. I began to read God's word even more and really begin to pray and be with God about and follow His instructions about how do I do this? How do I express this? How do I maintain this part of my life? And then also another thing that happened was I began to say, I'm no longer, where I am is no longer enough. I asked God to change my circle.
Wow.
I asked Him to change my circle. I had been in a particular place, and let me say, there was nothing intrinsically wrong with my circle.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that any type of trauma was going on. It wasn't that anything bad was happening, but I knew there was more. And so I asked Him to change my circle. And what happened is, one of the first things that happened with me asking God to change my circle was I came into contact with When Women Heal.
Oh.
And, well, I should say I came into contact with Tierra.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to one of her events and I was like, this this is the kind of thing I need to be connected to.
Mm-hmm.
And that gave me a connection to When Women Heal. And I began the process of, the first class I took in When Women Heal was with Erica Bishop,
Mm-hmm.
Emotional Intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what I needed.
Wow.
Because, like I said, I'm an emotional person, but I'm all over the place with it you
Mm-hmm.
know and
Mm-hmm.
so it gave me some tools, and getting into therapeutic services also helped me to utilize those tools and to say, hey girl, where you are is not necessarily where you want to be, but you're good enough. Like, it's not because of you per se, it's
Mm-hmm.
because maybe of the choices you have made, things that have happened to you, but you, where you are, who you are, God did that on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in that process, He just began to build me and to help me to know. One of the foundational scriptures that I really use now is 1 Corinthians 12, where God, He talks about, He set people in the body such as He had need of them. Like, you say, where's the foot, without the leg? Where's the hand without the arm? Everybody, we are different. The hand is completely different from the nose.
Mm-hmm.
Both are necessary. You don't stop needing one part just because you build on or you grow in a different area. So who I was, that person who was popping off, that personality was necessary, but it needed to be honed. It needed to be refined so that I could speak with boldness, but not harm the people that God put me in connection with.
I got you. I got you. You always, it sounds like you've always had a passion for people, but you didn't know how to navigate into people's lives because of what you had grown up around. Something on the inside of you, it was because if you always wanted to be in obedience, there was always something lying dormant on the inside of you. And I recognize that. So let me ask you a question. I'm going to pull something from your bio that stood out, well, so much stood out in your bio, but there was something specifically that you said in your bio, and I'm going to formulate that into a question. And you said,
Okay.
the question is, how has your journey equipped you to go and identify and recognize and serve people as they fulfill their assignment?
How has my journey, say it one more time,
How has
please.
your journey equipped you to identify and recognize and serve people as they fulfill their assignment?
Yeah, my journey has equipped me to serve because I am willing to admit where I've come from. I'm
Mhm,
willing to admit that although I grew up in a perfectionist culture, I'm not perfect
mhm,
because there isn't any perfection. And nowadays I tell my children, I'm like, perfection is a lie. It's a lie. It doesn't exist.
mhm,
Um, and also recognizing that I am worthy. I am worthy of the love. I am worthy of positive relationships and good interactions. I'm worthy of it. And it's important for me to be able to tell other people that they're worthy too. Sometimes we are in families and relationships, and it makes us feel like we're unworthy, like we're undeserving of having something that's good, that's better, that's what we desire. And I even had to, in one of my therapy sessions, I really had to get to the bottom and say, like, if you want it that way, do it that way. Like she just had to come out and say.
mhm,
And I was like, what you mean? Like, you mean I don't have to do it the way my mama did it? I don't have to do it the way my dad did it? And the answer is no. No, you don't. I can honor who my mom was without feeling like I have to do things exactly the way she did them. Um, and I think that was some of the challenge when I was like, well, I have to do this. This is what she taught me. So this must be how it goes. Well, you can choose to do something different. You
mhm,
make the choice. And my journey is really learning how to make choices that don't always agree with the people around me and the way I grew up and the way that even the way that some people experience God, it might not agree, but it doesn't make it wrong because God is the one. And I love God and I appreciate the fact that He is no respecter of persons. Like whatever you are, whatever you've been through, however you are living your life right now today, He loves you and it's enough for Him. And not that He wants you to remain in a place of sickness or disappointment. He doesn't, but He accepts you right there. He wants you to be everything He called you to be before you were formed in your mother's womb. But He doesn't disregard you or throw you away because you aren't that quote unquote perfect person or you didn't get something right. And part of my journey, I definitely feel like I would get thrown to the side because I didn't do it right. And I've just come to that place where, like, all right, that didn't quite work out. I feel like I have some more to grow in when it comes to that. But it's like, okay, it didn't work out. What we gonna do now?
Mhm.
What we gonna do now? And so I definitely feel like I am equipped to support people on that journey of, it's okay. Like, no, you don't have to be perfect. No, you don't have to be just like them. But what can you learn from them?
Mhm.
What can you learn from them? I actually have a dear, precious, precious cousin. She's young and she's actually my second cousin. So her father is my cousin, and I have been talking with her. We built a relationship, and one of the things, because we come from the same family, so one of the things I've talked to her about is like, sweetie, you know, everything that you've endured and you've gone through. She's very young, but she has been through a lot in her life. And one thing I tell her all the time is, you are the one who's going to make it out because you chose God.
Mm.
And when you choosing God makes the difference.
Mhm.
We oftentimes choose ourselves, we choose our marriages, we choose our children, we choose so many things. But when you choose God,
Mhm.
He gives you the pathway to that new place that you're trying to get to, that new experience that you're trying to have, that new person that you feel like you need to be connected to. He's the pathway.
Mhm.
He is the one. And so choosing him, hearing his voice doesn't sound like everybody else's voices, and we have to learn to hear him. Um, his voice sounds like authority. It sounds like an authority. Sometimes it might sound like a person, but it'll be someone who you trust with authority in your life.
Wow.
And so choosing God has made the difference. And then let me just say, I don't always choose him. It is still a journey. Like sometimes I'd be like, God, I don't want to do that.
You try to negotiate. But
Okay.
one of the things, Tanisha, I hear you say is that when we talk about resilience and healing, yours start to come about as you start to allow yourself to enter into your own identity. When your therapist was saying, if you want it different, change it. then
Yeah,
then when you said you're worthy, you start to come into your own recognition of who Tanisha is, not the role, not who mom is, not who dad is, but who am I in within this body. And so your resilience and healing start to come as you start to identify with the characteristics, the God-given characteristics of Tanisha.
absolutely.
And so,
Absolutely.
given that kind of experience, what has been the most joyous, fulfilling times of your life?
Oh, wow. Um, it's been a joy to just live. Like it's been a joy. I lead worship. I'm a worship leader, and I love leading worship. So experiencing the presence of God and seeing other people experience His presence and know that He's there, like His tangible presence. That has brought me so much joy. Um, just seeing, I love family. I love being able to just get out and of course right now in these times we don't get out as much, but even last year just going to the Beltline
Mhm.
was so fun to me. And I would take my kids and but sometimes being by as much as I love people, I equally love being by myself.
Yeah.
I, I equally love being, because I love a good girls' night. I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
But I love to be by myself. When I was younger and I was searching, I would never do things by myself, ever.
Mhm.
I would never. Now, you better catch me if you can. I will go anywhere by myself. And a friend of mine, she just laughs at me. She's like, "You sure will go out by yourself." I'm like, I have become my best company, and I love that.
But you-
Um,
let me ask you this though. You have served so many people.
mhm,
In your bio, I saw where even when you worked at the bank, you were fulfilling your call in serving customers. And I think it was like over 500 that you served. You have worked in serving youth, and even you're stating now family. You have worked in various entities within the church community. um People always say action speaks louder than words. We can tell people, I'm here for you, or let me know if there's something I can. We say things out of our mouth as it just roll off the tongue, right? But action has to become behind your words. What processes do you use that you find help people to not give up? Because that's one of the big things
mm,
that you personally take value in, is to help people to not give up when times get difficult, when times become challenging, and it's so easy to say just forget it. So what's your processes in to help people that your action shows what you say?
um, in order to not give up, the first thing that you need to do is sit in yourself. Like, sometimes we run out looking.
Mhm,
And for me, it's so important to pull into that quiet space,
mhm,
pull in and sit and either listen to. I am a big advocate of like soaking music that doesn't have any words. Now I'm a lyricist, so I love music, but soaking music that has no words and just allows you to breathe. Um, that it's a centering.
mhm,
It just settles your heart and your mind. Um, and it has been, I do that individually sometimes, but I have done that with my family where I feel like we're all over the place, and I'll be like, nope, this for the next 2 weeks we're not going anywhere, we're not doing anything, it's just going to be us, and maybe we have some conversations, or maybe we just spend time with each other, or maybe we just be in the house with each other. And we about due for some time like that, but but years ago I used to be like, nope, we're not going, because we need to pull into us. We need to recalibrate who we are,
mhm,
so that when it's time for us to really be busy, we know where we're going and what we're doing. So having some personal time. I get up very early. I have to have time that is quiet, without responsibility, without anybody saying mommy, wife, daughter, whatever. So
mhm,
I get up very early, which means I go to bed early. So I think being able to be in the quiet, some people meditate. I think that's good. But also identifying, what is it that you really want?
mhm,
What do you really want at
mhm,
the core, at the bottom line? I spent some time really just, what do you want? Well, I want to be happy. I
mhm,
want to be happy, and I don't want, and so really what I want is to have joy, so that my circumstances don't get me off course. They might cause me to stumble a little bit, like they might shake me, but they won't keep me from being who I'm really supposed to be.
Mhm.
And there are some things that happen and have happened to me where I really had to be like, okay, is am I being punked? Like, what is really happening and what is my response to this? And I had to really shut things all the way down so that I can really focus. And I'm telling you, the word of God, being quiet,
Mhm.
knowing what I really identifying. And it took me some time to really identify, even though I know who I am, really to identify, but what do you want? Once you know who you are, what do you want? What do
Mhm.
you want? And then who do you want to be on this road with you? Because everybody can't go. Everybody can't go. Everybody's not supposed to go. And although some people may go to this one place with you, then there are some people who they can't go to this other place. Those same people can't go to this other place. So who's going with you? Who's going with you? You know? And so some of those things are kind of what are I think are essential to really guide you along and to help you to determine and be determined, I should say, that nothing is going to take me out. I'm like, there were times in my life where I just was like, God, it'd be okay if I go to sleep and don't wake up. I don't want to kill myself, but if I go to sleep and I don't wake up, I'm okay.
Mm.
But in this space in life, in this time, I'm like, whatever I have to do, whatever I have to shed off, whatever I have to get rid of to
Mhm.
be everything that He wants me to be, I'm going to do it. It's not easy.
Mhm.
It's not easy, but I'm not depending on other people to do it.
Mhm.
I'm dependent on me and I'm dependent on God.
Do you find any commonalities or any patterns among the different entities where you serve, be it church, be it family, be it work? Do you find any commonalities of what causes people to give up?
Oh, I mean, one of the things that causes people to give up is not having the tools
Mm-hmm.
to see beyond circumstance
Mm-hmm.
because circumstances happen,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes we're not equipped. We
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I mean, we don't know that these traumatic things are going to happen to us. So
Mm-hmm.
when they do, it's like, oh, how do I manage this? How do I get beyond this? And sometimes it's on the job learning. Like as it's happening, you're learning that, oh, I'm really smarter than I thought. I'm stronger than I thought. I'm more, I am more focused than I even knew. I think that another thing that is just common is that we look externally
Mm-hmm.
for too many answers.
Mm-hmm.
We look to the world. Let me say it like that. We look to the world for answers.
Mm-hmm.
The world is messed up.
Right.
They need answers themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody got an answer in the world, and they're all different, and they all lead you to a different place. But the word of God,
Mm-hmm.
being in His presence, it leads you to your purpose, which is in Him.
Mm-hmm.
And so nothing, if it's not leading me to the Father, then and I have to share that with people and like you, but where is it leading you? Where is what you're doing, or even what has happened to you? Where is it leading you? Is
Mm-hmm.
it leading you to run away because you're in so much pain? I
Mm-hmm.
can relate to that. I understand that. But once you run, then what? That pain doesn't run. You didn't leave it behind.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't leave that pain behind. It's with you still.
I think a lot of times people don't have patience to wait. They don't have
Whew.
patience for change to come. And it's like if I wake up in the morning and it's not here, I'm over it. I'm done.
You so right. You are so right. I mean, I can relate to that because, and I've said, I'm like, this is taking too long.
Yeah.
It's
'Cause
taking too long
we want God to do it, but we want God to do it on our
on
time.
our time.
I need it like right now.
Like yesterday.
Yeah, and I think patience is a big setback. People miss a lot. People miss opportunities. They miss blessings. They miss so much because they want it like right now.
For
And it
sure.
and what they don't see is it's getting together, it's forming, it's shaping, and everything is blending together. So while all of that is working behind the scenes, just wait. And when it all unfolds, it's just the way it should have been. But when we rush it and we want it now, it's going to be some missing pieces that's not going to be included in it.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely agree with that, Dr. G. Waiting is very hard. But I love the scripture, wait on the Lord and be of good courage
Mhm.
because he will strengthen your heart. Um, that strength, you need strength to wait.
Oh, yes.
You need strength to wait. And you have to be focused
Mhm.
in order to wait. You have to have something to focus on
Right.
to wait because there'll be so many things, doing like this, trying to get you off of the course
Mhm.
because everything that has happened to us is for a purpose. It's purpose can come out of it. Let me say it like that.
Mhm.
Purpose can still come out of it,
Mhm.
regardless of how painful. And it's yeah, that patience. I know, they say don't pray for patience because you just gonna have to wait.
Yeah. 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 Tanisha, it
And
has
it's
been so wonderful. Like I said, I just adore you so much. I'm so grateful for you to just be a part of my own life. And I know that so many women and of When Women Heal feel the same way. You're just an amazing, beautiful woman. I thank God for you in every aspect of that. Before we leave, I'm going to come back. And I always ask a funny question at the end. So I'm going to come back and ask a funny question. But I do want everybody to please, please, please go to our Facebook community and join When Women Heal. And also go out there and visit the website at whenwomenheal.com. Also, you can now see all of the series of our weeks in on YouTube. So go to YouTube for When Women Heal, and you will be able to listen to all of our weeks from past um, that we've done for the series. Now, Tanisha, I got my funny question. If you
okay.
were if you were invited and you were a guest on Sunday's Best, what song would you sing and why?
Oh my gosh.
Speak it into the atmosphere, Glenise. Speak it into the atmosphere.
Oh my goodness. Okay, a song on Sunday's best. Um, one of my this is like my go-to song is actually I'll do this song. It's called I Don't Worry About Tomorrow. It was one of the songs I learned early in my life. It's a hymn, but I actually learned it. I don't know if you remember years ago, there was a play and it was called Mama, I Want to Sing.
Yeah.
And in that play, my mom,
Yeah. I
My
remember,
mom,
Mama, I want to say, I'm going to say this and you're not going to believe me. You're not going to believe it. Do you know we did that play in my high school?
really?
We did that play at my, and I just told Tierra today, I love stage plays. We did,
Oh,
I want to sing. Yes, we did.
yes. My mom took me to see that.
Uh-huh.
And I came home singing. I think I got the album
Uh-huh.
and everything. I came home singing all the music from that play, but that song, I Don't Worry About Tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
And I last year my brother passed away and I sang that at his funeral.
Wow. And I hear my dad, I can hear my daddy in my ear because the night of the play, you can hear my father all over the audience cheering me on in this play. I can hear him in
What
my
part
ear.
did you play?
It was a leading part. And I can remember, I can even think of the character now, because remember it was when I was in high school now. So that was a long time ago.
Oh my
Leave that right there.
gosh.
But yeah, Mama, I want
Isn't
to
that
sing.
a I
Yeah,
loved that play. I love, love, love that play.
sure did. I sure did.
Yes, I love
So
it. That's
it has
amazing.
been amazing. You have an awesome book, Chosen to Rise, How to Stay True to Your Assignment. Can you give us just a little snippet of what that book is about?
Chosen to Rise, How to Stay True to Your Assignment When Your Flesh Wants to Quit.
Oh,
That is a devotional style book,
oh wow.
and it is broken into 4 weeks, 5 days per week. It has questions, and it is based on primarily on Numbers chapter 16, where Moses and Korah just are sort of combating because Korah wants to be like Moses. He didn't want to be himself,
Mhm.
Dr. G, and he didn't want to do what God called him to do. He wanted to do what God called Moses to do. And so it's really about and I also talk about First Corinthians chapter 12 in there. And it asks you some questions about you, about who God made you to be, about how he knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. And it is a very introspective book, a look at yourself through the lens of the Bible about what God has said about you, what people have tried to say about you, but what you need to come into agreement with about what the truth is.
Wow. Wow. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Thank you. Yes, and it is available. It's on Amazon. It is also on my website at tanishawcarroll.com.
See, Tierra's inner, she's ready to come in. Let's see what she has for us.
Oh
Here we
God.
go.
That's not a part of this.
Hey, ladies.
Hey, how are you?
I was scrambling to get in this room, honey.
Oh gosh.
First of all, you ladies look amazing. I am not going to come on screen right now. But y'all are some divas. And I had to come in because me and Leslie were thinking the same thing when Tanysha mentioned that song. You took us back, T.
Yes, she did.
Oh, have y'all seen that?
We actually want to hear Tanysha sing it because we got a
Yes.
special guest. We got a special guest watching tonight. That's why Miss G.
Who?
Oh, wow.
So Tanysha,
Who's a special guest?
we got somebody watching tonight. So
Uh-oh.
Tanysha, can we get a smile?
Tierra is always up to something. You
Always, always. Oh my goodness.
You never know,
T.
T. You in a magical season right now, T.
Let me tell y'all something. How about I post the video? Girl, I have not sung all day. My voice sounds like trash right now.
You're not gonna give us one line, T, a little teaser? Come on.
Do y'all see how she does? This is how she does. She get that little voice. She get that little voice.
Teacher, you know I know.
I mean, we
She get
gotta
that
get
little
this.
voice.
We need at least one little piece, T. Come on now, T.
Ah, oh my gosh. Now, really hot. Okay. I don't worry about tomorrow. I just live from day to day. I don't borrow from the sunshine, for the skies may turn to gray. I don't worry, oh, the future, for I know what Jesus said. And today I'll walk beside him, for he knows what lies ahead. Many things about tomorrow I don't seem to understand, but I know who holds tomorrow, and I know who holds my hand.
Yeah.
Tanysha, girl, you have taken us all.
Yes.
Dr. G,
Yes.
Tanysha. Girl, we all on fire now, baby. You don't play.
Listen, you're going to take me back to the night of my birthday, okay?
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Y'all.
my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I told you Sunday best. I said it. I said, give me the song you'll do on Sunday's best.
Oh my
My
goodness.
God. I'm just speechless
Y'all.
right now.
Oh,
I am so speechless right now. I don't know what to do. Tanisha, I mean, your voice,
yeah.
your courage, your transparency, and the song selection. Oh my God. It just represents Tanisha.
Oh,
I just love that.
all the way, all over her. Divinely given.
Just beautiful. I mean, it just Tanisha Songbird just came out. How do you feel right now, T?
I mean, I feel good. I feel good. I don't like to just sing like that because when I came in here, I was like, I need some water. I don't have no water. But y'all, I love, let me tell you something, to be very honest. Um, I have not been singing. In this season of my life, I have not been singing.
Mm.
Um, and but at the beginning of this month, I went to an event and experienced just I just had an amazing experience, and God touched me.
Mm.
And when I came back, one of the things I said was, he just one day I was, I don't know what I was doing, but I started singing and I
Mm.
shocked myself.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, thank you, God. You gave me back my song.
You know what, Tanisha, as you saying that, I always try to guess what people are going to say with the funny question, right? And I actually wrote out of it's so many songs in this world, and I wrote, Tanisha's going to sing "He's Amazing." That's it right there.
Oh wow.
And as
He
you
is.
as you were saying that right there, I said, "He's so amazing." He's so
Yes. He gave me back my song. And that means the world to me.
Yeah.
It means the
Tanisha,
world to me. Yeah.
I don't want to jump in too much. I'm gonna turn it back over to Dr. G, I think. Um,
We were closing.
because we just
Like really.
we never know how the Holy Spirit is. Now y'all got me on something. But my mom said to me after a very, I would say delicate bridge that we crossed together. She explained to me as an adult child some things, and I would better understand it as an adult child when she said to me, she knows why the cage bird sings.
Yeah.
And there's certain things in life that happen and they free you and you can fly and you sing and you celebrate from a different place because you know what it felt like to be that caged bird at the same time. And sometimes it's the courage of other people, it's the loved ones, it's those painful things we get through as well that shatter that cage. And I just, Tanisha, as my sister and my friend, it's just beautiful to see you in this space. Because for you to share that was very intimate for you to share that God gave you your song back. To me, that's a form of authenticity. Because what happens is, I was telling someone this. Have you ever just been somewhere and your eyes tear up and it's not even like you're not sad about what's happening, but your eyes tear up? It could actually be a good emotion or it could be sadness that's suppressed. I mean, it really could be things that a person's just navigating through the best that they can. You may not even notice that you stopped singing until you realize, you ask yourself, when is the last time that I sung? You see what I'm saying? And that retreat or wherever you went, that was for you. I don't know what happened, but is that where you took that picture as well that we posted?
No, that was after. It was about 2 weeks after the retreat that I went to that picture came. Yeah.
So in my journey, similar to that, sometimes God sends us into what, and Keisha was breaking this down for us recently too. Sometimes God can bring that spiritual graduation to the physical, and we're invited to something that is job well done. And you know that you have completed yet another assignment, yet another, around the mountain for your journey. And that sounds like that's what that could have been. So I just thank you for sharing that song and being authentic and transparent, and that you hadn't sung in so long. And you listen, you just did that. You did that.
Well, we know a push was coming when we saw Tierra jump in the room. So
Y'all should have saw me looking for this link, because every device that I own is defaulted to my room. So I'm like, here we go. I'm like, here we go. Let me search all my messages for T. Then I paused, like you guys said, and I said, stop panicking, because I'm like, I gotta get in there before they log off. I gotta get in there. I paused and I said, stop panicking. Where would this be? And I just went to every email we send all of our featured people. And I'm like, it's right here. Because I couldn't ask Tanisha or Glenise. I had to do it on my own. So I love you, ladies, so much. You both look beautiful. It's been so inspiring, T. You do so much for us and your family. And Dr. G, I just love your questions. This has been so beautiful to watch, especially with the heart and love that I have for both of you. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Dr. G, or T. I know you close out. Do you want to share anything y'all are working on, T? Any projects or anything?
well, Carroll Apparel, of course, is building and just getting, which is a brand that I own with my children. So you can check us out at carrollapparelshop.com. But we're going to be releasing some stuff and going to some what do they call it? Vendor events coming in the fall. But also just that I am, if you are in need of a website built or a just web assistance, like updating your own website. That is what I have going on right now. And also, if you are in need of basic editing of videos, I am doing that. So all the type of virtual administrative works, I am working hard and looking for new clients always. So you can go to
Okay, so
my
you're
website.
taking on some new projects, T. We will definitely send some. I just said to someone today that if they get their video edited a little bit, that it would be perfect to have as a replay product. So for sale. So
Oh
um
yeah, real basic editing. Like I don't
yeah,
put a lot, I don't do the
right,
words and
right.
stuff in the video, but yeah, yeah,
This would be perfect.
absolutely.
And yeah, it's our sister friend. So I'll be talking to
Okay,
you about it. But anyway, I
awesome.
love you ladies so much.
Love
Dr.
you,
Joy,
T.
turn it back over to you in that beautiful yellow. Oh my God.
You. Thank you. Thank you
Gorgeous.
for joining us.
Thank you.
I hated to just interrupt and bust through this party, y'all. I broke all the way
Did
into
you?
the room.
You hated it?
We just
No.
wanted to hear that. I hated to do it. But I'm going to gently remove myself, you guys. You have a great night.
I see. Oh
Oh,
gosh.
wow. Tanisha, you are simply amazing in every sense of the word amazing. Guys, if this does not get you to join this community, I don't know what will. So please visit our website, winwomenheal.com. Go out there and join the When Women Heal community. Tanisha is the prime example of women within the community. Again, Tanisha, thank you so much. Thinking that if I was in church, I would say, Tanisha, thank you for singing us home.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. G, for having me, for hosting me, for being such a prolific host. And I really do honor you and appreciate your sensitivity as well.
Thank you so much. All right, we will be talking soon, and you be blessed and have a wonderful night.
Good
Talk to you
night.
soon. Bye-bye.